Hello and welcome to Michelle's Joyous Garden. I am Michelle. I am a neurodivergent gardener living in Zone 6B, specifically in Michigan. And this is video number 3. Yesterday I missed, but that's okay. We're going to keep on trucking. I went to the New Edition concert, y'all. It was amazing. Boyz II Men, Toni Braxton, and it's just amazing. And the reason why I'm going to tie that in is because a lot of people play music for their plants to help them grow. I have not done that yet, but I'm going to start because I really love music. And so today we're going to talk about indoor gardening. We had what's called a false spring. It was really nice. We got 55, 60 degrees. Now we may get snow tonight, but that is okay because I am still very joyous because I have started my indoor garden as far as vegetables. But I want to introduce you to my snake plants. I didn't really realize how tall it was until I took it off the windowsill. Look how tall this snake plant is. And I have had it for about going on 6 years. It was like the first plant that I bought on my own and that has survived. But clearly it needs to be in a bigger pot. So I will be transplanting that, and I will film when I do that. I love snake plants because they are literally like the set it and forget it plant. Sometimes I do forget, but I do try to water them. But you don't have to water them a lot. In fact, it's not good for them to do so. I got this snake plant. It's also a snake plant, but I love it because of different colors. I think she's good in this particular container. In fact, she's called a Sansevieria. Sansevieria. I do not have my glasses on, y'all. No, I don't. But that's okay. It says medium light. So I have a eastern facing window and a big bay window, and that's where they normally live. I just brought them here for the video, and I wanted to try out this ring light as well. So I love snake plants, and for those who say, oh, I kill everything, try snake plants. They're very hard to kill, like a cactus. I was given some big, beautiful ferns. Honey, they did not survive. But these have been doing very, very well. I also have a peace lily from my dad's homegoing that I may have showed you before, and an aloe vera plant. I keep those in the kitchen. I just moved the peace lily because she wasn't doing so well. And if you have peace lilies, they are extremely dramatic plants. Like they will just fall over. And I keep my home rather warm. But there are some times in which I need air because, perimenopause and you just hot flashing and all of that. So I need to have fans on. So I decided to move her into the kitchen, by the kitchen window, but not like direct light. But it's near the heat vent. And it seems like it's been doing well because I had a lot of brown leaves that I had to get rid of, so I cut those off, and then I also added some earthworm castings and watered it like normal, and it seemed like it's doing really well. So it's doing well. But if you have a peace lily and it really gets really dramatic, what you can do, like a quick fix that I've done, when you take a shower, bring it in there with you and let that steam hit it, and it perks right on up like overnight. So I've done that with my peace lily. I also have an aloe vera plant. When I was a little girl, I remember going to the hair salon, and I remember the hairstylist always had an aloe vera plant in there because, if you moved or they accidentally burnt your ear, it's just good for burns. And having it in the kitchen is really ideal. All you got to do is just pinch it off. And there's just so many other uses for aloe vera. But I love it because it is also one of those that they don't really require a lot. So to get started growing, I would definitely recommend snake plants, aloe vera plants, peace lilies. They're really not that bad. You do need a little bit more care with them. So next, I'm going to talk about what I'm growing now. I'm so excited. It's only been a week, and look here. from seed. Can you all see that? Let me get closer. Uh-oh. See? See all that green? This is lettuce. I was talking to my aunt and I said, I'm growing salad. That was so funny. That's like somebody said they went to the market and they were asking where the guacamole was. like in like the guacamole vegetable. Like they thought that was a guacamole vegetable. Well, I thought it was funny. They really was looking for avocados. And then these started to sprout. This is my spinach. Look. See? Look at that. And this is my first time growing lettuce from seeds. Well, it's my first time growing lettuce, period. I didn't grow lettuce last year. I also didn't grow spinach last year. But those are the seed packets I got. And I got the lettuce seeds from the Dollar Tree. And I got the spinach seeds from Menards. And I've got, well, it looks like 1, 2, 3. But this one right here is one here that's really small. When it started to sprout, it doesn't really look like the others, but it might just be a late bloomer. You see it? It's really small, like right there. But that's okay. And all I've used was the shop light I got from Menards. It was on sale for $6.99. And I got that shop light and I attached it to my rack in less than a week. So I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do some bell pepper seeds. And I have to tell you, for my mental health, this has just been so wonderful for me. When you garden and it becomes such a part of your routine, as someone who is neurodivergent, or if you're going through anything, I was also, when you grieve, you're grieving for. You have your ebbs and flows where some days are good, some days are not. But that helped me so much. So I definitely recommend everybody to get a garden. Even if you're in an apartment or a small space, I did this in my kitchen. It doesn't require a lot of space. And this right here, this was a food container, and I just doubled them up, and I just kept them. I got that I inherited it from my dad. He always kept a lot of stuff, but I'm so glad I kept these bowls. This was a Jimmy Dean breakfast bowl, and I just doubled it up. I just put holes on the bottom. I'm gonna take these back in a minute because I don't want, I'm just have them here to show you guys. So we are living in a time where it is really important to buy your own food. I saw someone make a post about it being cheaper to go out to restaurants and buy groceries because groceries are so expensive. And I do get that. But some recommendations. Go to fruit markets. I'm really blessed that I have a lot of fruit markets around me. I go to Randazzo's. You get a lot of bang for your buck for fruits and vegetables. I was just talking to my aunt not too long ago how I used to go to meat markets, and I may start back doing that. Or finding farms locally in your area and buying from them. I think people may have a difference of opinion on that. Well, it might be more expensive than going to like a big store, big box store. But if you are going to those stores, try to get organic if you can, if it is affordable. If not, I would definitely go to like a regular fruit and vegetable store. There are people always growing things. I was just talking to my aunt and I found out like one of her best friends, they have chicken because she got really sick from some chicken from a store. She doesn't really follow like recalls, but she found out that it was. And she said, I'm never going to go to this store. And I said, might be better going down to Eastern Market. For those who aren't in Metro Detroit, Eastern Market is one of the country's largest, longest running, year-round open air market. And they are open, but a lot of people don't want to go down there in the snow. So usually fall, spring, summer. And during Flower Day in May, that's when I got all of my starter plants. So, and I, if I'm in town, I do plan on being there and going there and getting those there. But you don't have to do it on Flower Day. That's just like the biggest day. It's really community. It's a whole vibe. Everybody is just like nice, and it's just a really diverse melting pot of folks coming together that want to get fruits, vegetables, and flowers. And then they also have other vendors there that are selling their wares, small businesses, body butters, all types of things. So Easter Market is like the greatest thing. So going to places like that, like a Randazzo's, like a Easter Market, that I think will help. But also growing your own food. I really want to get really good at growing potatoes. I did grow some potatoes last year. They didn't do that well, but I planted them really well. To me, it was late. It was May. And we are coming up on March. So I will be looking at starting my potatoes indoors kind of soon. But they require heat, so I got to do some research on that. It just took a long time. Same thing with the bell peppers. They took a long time, and I had starter plants. But you also have to take in consideration as to what is going on weather-wise where you are. We were, it was like a lot of rain, and we had some dips in temperature, and it was just, and then we had long stretches of really, really, really blazing high heat. So it was a lot of stuff. It was, but I still yielded bell pepper, so I'm not going to give up on that. Also, I talked about my indoor plants, but I also want to talk about what I've been feasting on, what I've been using since the last grow season. This is lavender. Lavender. Let me get in close so y'all can see. See? This is my lavender. It's dried. I put this in tea. Have these little silver things, crumble them up, put them in there, and it's a great complement with a black tea or a Earl Grey or whatever you prefer. Lavender is so relaxing. I keep it in the kitchen. It still smells good. It still smells really good. This is a sprig of rosemary. I grew this in my garden in the fall, and I use rosemary. It's good with steak. It's good with a lot of meat. It's good with a lot of things, and it's just so aromatic. Give you another close up. I'm going around this gigantic snake plant. See, it's rosemary. Still smells good. Wish we had such thing as smell-o-vision. Y'all can smell it. It's so aromatic. Now this, I'm gonna move this so I don't have to keep dancing around it. Ooh, going right in front of me. Look how tall it is. It's huge. So huge. This is mint. I didn't grow mint. Mint will take over your garden. It really will. My sister, see, look at it. It smells so good though. It will take over your garden. And I was talking to my school friend who's like my play brother. Found out he was a gardener. Had no idea. No idea. And he was telling me mint was really good. It keeps away pests, but it will take over your garden. My sister, she had like 1 or 2 plants, and it really has taken over, but it also keeps away a lot of pests. The recommended method of growing it is keeping it in a pot, but with my sister, she had mint. Somehow it, I don't know, the wind, animals or whatever, she now has mint growing in her front. Now, because mowing the grass is not one of my favorite activities in life, it depends. Sometimes I have my moments where, oh, it's like exercise and I take breaks. I'll get out there with my lemonade, with my book, and have a whole little whimsical production with trying to get over the fact that I've got to cut grass. I had a guy that cut my grass for a year or 2, but then he stopped. But then my neighbor across the street, his nephew does grass. So I was having him do the front. I had heard too many horror stories about people doing cutting their grass around their garden, and I was like, nope, nope, nope. I'll take care of the back. But I digress. Now see, this is a good example of my neurodivergency on why I was talking about cutting the grass and why I even went into that conversation about cutting grass. Oh, I remember. See, y'all saw that in real time. Real time. That's why I love gardening. It brings me back in focus. So, ground cover. I know some people use it as ground cover. I was thinking about just getting ground cover and just covering it and not having grass at all, period. But I don't know. Aesthetically, I don't know if I'll get tired of that or what. But I might try to experiment with some ground cover in the bag. So anyone, if you've done ground cover, let me know what it's like. Okay. Oh, I didn't show you. I got a little bit of this jam left. This is left over from the fall. I made a couple of jars of jam. I have about 2 or 3 in my freezer, and those are from my grapes. Truthfully, this is the first thing I've ever, I guess, grown successfully, but I don't know if I could really take all the credit for that because I literally don't do anything to my grapevine. This year I have to prune it, and that's the big thing. I think I may have talked about that in a video or two ago. I have to prune my grapevine. I have to prune my watermelon vine. I have to prune my tomatoes. I was a first year gardener, so I just kept thinking, oh, I don't want to cut the wrong thing. I don't want to cut too much. And sometimes you just have to go for it. And even, finding the shoots and where to cut. And I believe my watermelons would have gotten bigger if I would have done that. And then my tomatoes. Now my tomatoes did pretty well. And I was really, really excited about the tomatoes. But this year, I'm only doing Romas, and I'm also only going to do beefsteak tomatoes. And I'm going to share a lot more. Share with neighbors, share with family, share at my church, and literally will be, bringing fruit and vegetable. I did it last year. A lot of people, I had people like, hey, I want some green tomatoes. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll give you some green tomatoes. And I think someone had even asked me, it's like, well, are you going to sell? I'm like, no, that's not what I was doing that for. Now, will I decide to go into doing some digital products and showing people how to do it? Maybe. I might just do that. Thought about doing a coloring book. But that's why I wanted to come and speak to you all today about you can eat throughout the year. Throughout the year. I didn't have to wait. Because there are a couple of schools of thought that I am now understanding. There are some people who do indoor gardening for the purpose of, I'm trying to get a head start because I live in a zone with a very short growing season and weather that's all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and start inside so that I can transplant later. There are some people who are just growing because they like growing their own food, and they've got all kinds of really fancy hydroponic systems, and I'm that's where I'm going to be headed. But I just really wanted to do something inside where I can enjoy. And the way this lettuce is growing, I'm not sure, but I'll be able to transport it. I keep saying transplant it somewhere else, adjust the light, and still begin to eat off of it. That's really the goal with the spinach. And I chose these because as time goes on, these are cold weather vegetables. They do well in the cold. And if I'm wrong about anything, just comment because I'm still learning. I'm only in year 2. So I definitely am open to that. But for me, what am I? I'm both. I'm going to continue to grow other things. I started with the 4. Now, the sage, nothing has happened with it. The parsley, nothing has happened with that. No, nothing has sprouted. So I might try doing the paper towel method with those and then see if I can get some action happening there. With the bell peppers, I will film that. I will talk on the next video about fertilizer and bunny poop. I don't raise bunnies. I have wild bunnies and they have left a lot of bunny poop. So I'm going to talk about that next. So thank you so much for joining me in video 3. I did it. Woo! Road to 100. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, please like, please subscribe, please share. And this is again Michelle's on her Joyous Garden Journey. That's not the name of it, but it's Michelle's Joyous Garden, but I am on a journey. You all take care. This is the aloe vera plant. And this is my peace lily. See right here, not last summer, but the summer before last, I made the mistake of having it outside and it was just too much. They don't like all that direct sun. So, yep, she's still staying, holding on.